Hey guys, Mike Cameron here with another video. So last week we were talking about the origin of self-esteem problems, the suffering cycle, and how to start to break free. This week I want to talk about why we hold on to pain, grudges, chronic suffering, and how to break free at a gut level. So sometimes when we go through a painful situation, the emotions can last a while. Like with a breakup, for example. It can last days, weeks, months, sometimes even years. In some cases, we can start to see a pattern form that even though the original something bad has stopped happening, we're still going through the same loop. Our minds are recreating the same something bad happening by reliving it in our minds over and over again. Hence the holding on to pain, hence the chronic suffering. We can also start to see a grudge form towards the person who hurt us. Now this chronic suffering can play in the background, but when we get into a situation that is similar to the original something bad happening, it can trigger all those emotions to come up again and again and again. Why does this happen? Let's look at the cycle. So, we are reliving the same situation over and over again. That's the something bad happening. We have that negative tension towards ourselves. The same emotions coming up, maybe even stronger. That's our punishment. And we can even justify why we should be punished. We'll find reasons. Because of the cycle, because of the lack of clarity about this situation, and because the lie that we were taught that when we're being punished, it's because we are bad, instead of because of the behavior. We become blind to the truth, and we get stuck in a conflict, trying to resolve our badness in order to prevent the something bad from happening again, and the punishment that seems to inevitably ensue. And the cycle makes it seem like this is just the general way things work, regardless of who's involved. And you can see this in this example. Let's take a parent. Let's say that parent is very judgmental of their child when the child makes mistakes. As the child goes through life and they make mistakes, they're going to expect everyone else to be just as judgmental as the parent was, even if these people have never made a single judgment towards them. And you can see the same thing happening with abandonment, neglect, and abuse. We actually believe and expect the past to repeat itself until we've actually processed our emotions or felt them all the way through and clarity is found. If this is hard to accept and believe, it's okay. Bear with me. I will explain it. So, our minds are actually wired for survival. Anything we fight or flee from or resist in any way, we're activating the fight or flight response. And we're telling our subconscious mind, this is still a threat. And that can be with emotions too, if we perceive them that way. If it's still a threat, our subconscious mind is going to hold on to it. And it's going to look for resolution in order to keep us safe from this threat ever happening again. It is a safety mechanism. And our minds will keep motivating us to deal with this through our negative thoughts, anticipating situations going this way again, and through being triggered. But if we feel our emotions, we change it a little bit. We actually interrupt the pattern right here. So we actually don't feel punished anymore. We feel the emotions instead of fighting them. And then there's no threat. We're telling our brains this isn't a threat anymore. And we can actually feel peace, even in the midst of anger and sadness. And then, if we don't have that threat anymore, our brains don't need to find a resolution anymore. And we start to just naturally let go. Which looks like us thinking about it less, feeling it less, being less impacted, and getting it to a point where we can actually start to see the situation objectively and it not come back in the form of triggers and not affect the rest of our lives. Look, I get my suggestion sounds really tough and scary and probably impossible. I get it. I was physically abused, sexually abused, neglected, and abandoned. I've been tormented by my thoughts and my emotions for 20 plus years. I tried to bury them. I tried to resist them. I tried not to feel that way or think that way. I even tried to talk my way out of my thoughts and my feelings with cognitive behavioral therapy. Emotions were dangerous to me. I didn't want to feel that shit. It was overwhelming. I didn't want to think about those situations any more than I had to. The only thing is that the more I resisted, the more the emotions became stronger, the more my resistances didn't work, the more my distractions didn't work. You know, I couldn't sleep properly. I couldn't pay attention in conversations very well. I got to the point where the only thing that didn't make me nauseous when I consumed it was chocolate milk. I mean, I got to the point where it was so painful I didn't want to live anymore. But I realized that it wasn't the emotions themselves that were tormenting. It was the fact that I was resisting that was causing the torment. And when I started to actually accept and feel, after 20 years I finally realized this, that it loosened up. It became easier. And I became more peaceful. And I connect with people more. And I'm less affected. And the best thing is that I'm not reliving this stuff over and over again the way that I used to. With these painful situations, or the something bad happenings, we can actually start to see it as somebody else's fault, but at the same time feeling like we deserved it too. And we can have this great desire for revenge and for them to take responsibility, which is really just a dispersing of built-up emotion. Having the person feel the same hurt that we felt, it's only fair, right? And having them take responsibility on a subconscious level convinces us that we're actually not in the wrong. We're not to blame. We don't have to punish ourselves. We're not bad. And if they do it genuinely, then in our subconscious mind, there's no threat anymore. So we can turn that off. We can turn this off, and we can be safe again. The only problem with trying to go that route is until we get to that point, we're still going through the cycle over and over and over again. We're still creating more suffering. We're still blocking happiness, joy, and connection. We're still being obsessed with something bad happening. And if we go that revenge route, it can take us to a very dark place where we lose ourselves. And even if we get the revenge, in the process, it still may not be satisfying and fulfilling because we're still going through the cycle. We're still feeling on some level that we deserved it. And thus, we're still suffering because we're not dealing it at the root. We're not dealing it here. And we can't control people and make them take responsibility, especially if they're not capable of doing so, no matter what we say, do, or threaten to do to them. We're just giving them our power in the sense that they have to take responsibility for us to stop suffering. We're literally giving them the one and only cure to save us. And so we stay stuck, because most of the time we can't rely on these people. There are two emotions in particular that when we allow ourselves to experience them in the context of the painful situation or the something bad happening, they can help us in an emotionally validating way to let go on a gut level. And by doing so, we're able to get our power back, re-establish a sense of security, rebuild lost self-esteem, and redevelop our ability to defend ourselves, which we may have lost by going through the suffering cycle on a chronic level. Those emotions are sadness and anger. Sadness is like the bowels of the emotions, in that it helps us to let go of pain, which is why people cry at funerals. Through that grieving process, they're able to let go and move on with their lives. Anger, on the other hand, when it's not unleashed on the person, when we're allowed to feel that, it helps us to reestablish that sense of security. It helps us to rebuild boundaries. It helps us to feel like we can defend ourselves. But at the same time, when we're feeling that, we're also putting the responsibility where it actually is, on the other person, if that's the case in the situation. And so we don't even need them to take responsibility for us to feel that and to let go. When we only feel sadness, what tends to happen is we let go, but if we don't have that defense mechanism, we can find ourselves back in the situation, dealing with the same bad happenings. If we're only feeling anger and we're not letting go because of sadness, then we're constantly on edge, feeling like we're constantly having to defend ourselves and that we have to let everyone know that they're not going to take advantage of us. So it's important to have both of them at the same time. If we don't feel either of them, then we go on a never-ending quest where we're feeling totally insecure, where we're trying to escape the pain, but it's feeling very fresh. We'll do anything to feel safe and secure, but we can never quite get it, and we can never quite let go no matter what we do. And we can get advice from people, but it doesn't really sink in. You know, we can understand it intellectually, but it doesn't sink in. Just consider that. Have you ever met somebody that's like that? I actually used to be like that. Also consider with kids, they get over stuff very quickly. Why? Because they let themselves go through the emotions. And it doesn't have to be expressing, it can just be feeling. So my suggestion, get sad and get pissed off. Let yourself feel the emotion. You know, do activities while you're doing it. Take a paintbrush and some paint and just go like that on the canvas, or dance and sing and just like scream if you have to. You know, write down stuff, or, you know, punch a punching bag. Whatever, just get it out of your system and you're going to feel so much better. I mean, that's what's been working for me to let go of a lot of the abuse that I've been going through. It's made such a huge difference, and I want you guys to experience that too. And if you can't access those emotions yet, it's okay. Just go watch a movie that elicits some of those emotions to get the ball rolling. Talk to a friend about the emotion, somebody you know you can trust, somebody who's open to emotions. And if now it still doesn't work for you with the emotions and stuff like that, it's okay. Just check out my next video, because I'm going to go deeper into the emotions and the process of that when I make my video about how to keep the past from becoming the future. Anyway, so that is my video. I hope you like it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. And if you found this helpful, please, please, please share it, because there are so many people that are out there that are struggling, and I want to do my best to help them too. And I would love if you would be a part of my mission. So anyways, that's my video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, I hope you really enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already seen last week's, click on the video below and watch it now. Thanks for watching.